Greetings and blessings. Some of you have probably been wondering why it is that I'm talking about the topics that I'm talking about. Primarily the end times, eschatological, prophetic events that may very well unfold in our lifetime. And the reason being is because as you all know, I have this illness they gave me the diagnosis of terminal. So therefore, I don't know when my last day is. It could be with the MSA, I could have 14 years or 1 year. I don't know. There's no set time limit with MSA, multiple system atrophy. But the reality is that if I don't talk about the things that I'm passionate about, then it's all worthless. And of course, I value each and every one of you who have subscribed. Anyone who likes and shares and comments, I'm extremely thankful for. But in the last little bit, while I've been doing these messages on some of the end times subjects, and I'm not trying to belittle anybody at all in saying that I'm so very well studied, and I talk about the decades of study. Really, honestly, it's more so in the last 10 years of my life, I've really devoted my life to the study of God's Word. And when I talk about decades, when I first got saved back in 1988, I was reading the Bible nonstop, but I was always drawn to prophetic topics, the book of Revelation, stuff like that, because I truthfully believe that I've been given a window into. I always thought that I will live to see these events take place. But even if I don't, we want our children, our grandchildren, we want everybody to be knowledgeable in these areas. And that's why I feel compelled and led to talk about these topics, which I find very relevant for today, because this world that we are living in as Christians is changing so rapidly and so demonically, if I can be so blunt as to say. And there's so much evil around us that we need to be aware of, because for years, and I'll say decades, from when I first came to the Lord in 1988. And you guys all know my testimony. If you haven't watched it, it's on here. Go watch it. But I was radically saved in 88 when I trusted and believed on Jesus Christ. My life was truly changed. And even when I fell away, I was always reading God's word. I would share and talk about and teach about the book of Revelation, about all these things that are going to involve with people who I was in the world with when I was partying and stuff. So again, I feel I've always been very drawn to the prophetic side of all these events that are going to happen someday, maybe in a lifetime, maybe not. But there are certain things, as far as what I can see, that what I wanted to say was, for so long I was taught a certain way to believe the Bible, and I recently, in the last couple of years, come to a different conclusion of certain things that, again, I find I'm very passionate about and that I want to share. So I hope and pray that anyone out there will have the ability to maybe listen closely to, as they say, you can't either teach a old dog new tricks, right? Well, I don't believe that for a minute, because the minute you say you have it all figured out, that you understand everything, I think that's when the time you have to examine yourself and your walk closely, because I don't think any of us have it all figured out. I'm just sharing my opinions, my views, stuff I've learned. I spent a great deal of time. I was in my 4th year of seminary when I got sick, and that's a long story. I had to quit the classes. Well, again, that's a long story, but I was a chaplain. I used to give sermons at a halfway house, sort of, for men just out of prison who were drug addicts and murderers and liars and thieves, and they all respected me because I wasn't preaching at them. I was preaching with them, because essentially I was them. And I'm just on here sharing this good news of what the Lord can do in your lives when you're truly changed. And I pray that all of us watching have been truly changed, that we're not living a life that appears like we're holy, but not really truly in our heart living that out. And by your help, by you liking, by you subscribing, all that stuff, it gets pushed out in more so more people can view. But anyway, I'm rambling with that. Uh, I'll let you go for now, but I just really felt led to explain why it is that I've kind of switched up in a sense of what I'm talking about. And of course, I'm going to talk about my updates and on my illness. And I'm so very grateful and thankful that each of you are watching. I mean that. And if you haven't subscribed, I really hope and pray that you will. Because, again, more people then can view the content that gets pushed out to more and more people. So with that being said, I pray and I hope you have a blessed day, that the peace of God dwells in you richly. I pray that you love God with all of your heart, with all of your mind, with all of your strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's anyone you come in contact with. Those are your neighbors. Anybody. People. Love people. Pray for your enemy. Love your enemy. Pray for those who persecute you. Like Christ on the cross said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they are doing. Like Stephen, when he was being stoned to death, he said, Father, forgive them. Same thing that Christ said on the cross. And that's where we all need to be.